लेट्स गो गाइस, लेट्स गो सेंटिनल। चलो शुरू करा जाक। म्यूट करा आज।
Considering, I think, and waiting to see if there is that re-clearance. JunQT does need to be careful. Opens himself up to that angle there, but again, it's the weaponry. I mean, EDG have not been able to recover any sense of that. Nothing built up in the bank.
You see there, John using a cage again for the sound cues, making sure that he can't get pressured as he takes a little more space towards mid. They're being very cautious on these anti-eco Sentinels. They don't want to get tripped up. But it is incredible that EDG have only won the pistol and the follow-up. Where's the punish here? Where's the cover?
Yeah, nobody watching, just in case that was that punish here. Chichu, a couple of shots, backs away with his life, but just pulling apart the EDG defense. Second, built up by the camp, stunned up at that. Unlikely to see that follow-up. The mortar time does get dragged down to the final moments. Might see opportunities for EDG to strike. Aftershock, pushing them back and away from the plant. Zellsis going for round two, needs to be covered. And Tenz has it. Pushed up, high ground angle. Chichu dropped, nobody. Off onto the extremity, flawless from Sentinels. You can say that from round three onwards.
They've always been in control. Have there been some dangerous moments where EDG have hit a nice shot, got into a good position? Yeah, of course. You're always going to get that with a team as good as EDG. And yet, Sen have sailed away. Clean swept the last 7 rounds in a row.
One enemy remaining.
Kang's finally going to bring out that operator. The economy's been damaged, been in ruins.
Not just Kang, it's double op.
Double opping.
Yeah, Smoggy.
It's not round 12. They don't have money.
Sentinels, bit of early orb farming as well. See if they can get that rolling thunder online. Zellsis is now one away from it.
And they have been prioritizing this smoke at the top of C long as well, which cuts off Smoggy's sightline. He's not sure whether someone's tucked into Cubby, as Sassy has. He also doesn't know if someone's going to peek him from the right or the left. It's a tough situation to play with the op.
Yeah, and it might come down to reactions if he gets peeked.
I mean, he's also going to get pressure from Garage unless Chichu can hold that off.
Drone sees it. Spotted. Out for Garage now. Pin to play by Sen. Try and make their moves in through the C site now. Ball cuts it up. You can see there's an awareness at the back of the heads of Sen. They're worried about this operator in play at work. Paranoia is used to clear most of the way alongside the dart. There's many waves to the util. Celsius with the plant. He will get his ult online from this one. Everybody grouped up from EDG, setting themselves up to try and play for the retake, but it's preemptive. Sen using this to try and strike. Chichu's there. Offset though, nobody covering it. An overextension by Sentinels. Now it's up to these remaining players if they can pick up the pieces, but the stun is immaculate, and the spray down from Zellsis, only to wonder his troubles.
If Sentinels had had any idea there was a double operator set up in this round, I don't think they would have gone for such an aggressive post-plant option. But they didn't want to allow EDG all of that util advantage.
That's nasty.
And that's a crazy double kill from Chichu. You've been waiting for a moment like that the whole time. And the double ops did not particularly contribute there.
I accidentally hit my escape key.
And that round, Kang actually had the Neon ultimate to be able to make up for it. When he goes for the retake, he doesn't have to just play slowly behind his team, holding angles for them. Now, however, you take a look at what's going on for EDG, and he doesn't have that to be able to back himself up.
Yeah, use just in case they get overwhelmed and swarmed here. Just that EDG's defensive setup. Even B entirely open for the taking. Obviously, Sentinels don't know this one. It's been cautious from beginning to end in most of these rounds as well. High priority to try and break some of this util through, but the trip is spotted. It was a kill trip that Chichu was hoping to play off of. Bit of spam through the wall.
Second movement is so nice in these spots as well. Jump peeking scenarios where he might be thinking about an EDG player tucked in an angle. So difficult to play a one and done against a Neon with good movement like that. Here's another Neon, though, with a big weapon.
Let's go and re-exploring. Risky, but you're down so many rounds that sometimes risks need to be taken. Doesn't break down the drone. It's a fault line as well. Does catch. Slow down to a cruel cage on the cross. Sowing a bit of that misinformation. Sentinels trying to make it feel like they could be retaking over towards A lobby. Dart's going to be used side by side, though, shoulder to shoulder. These players unaware that they've crossed up. And Smoggy now isolated. He's on an island through the back of the site. The util once more. It is impeccable. Trying to dodge and weave around from this play. Chichu and Simon now. It's a quick flood attempt in through the back. Picking up these rifles in their hands. These were the upgrades. Hunter's Fury scatters through. Fights to be taken by EDG. They could be set up for success on most of it. Sprayed down. And with the Hunter's Fury dropping John QT, it's another round earned. EDG can add that to the tally.
Last round in the half.
What a sick defensive read by Nobody. I want to give him his credit here because he got the wrong read in a prior round that started this avalanche away from him. But this time, he'd already called the rotate over to C as he was smoked off. Drone had already cleared. Fault line, he knew, at least he should have thought, that Sen were starting to take space over on A.
Yeah.
He just did not buy that at all, was not convinced of what John had put together. Called his bluff, hits everything perfectly.
The pistol round and a few stray gun rounds. What a shot, Kang. Flexing his muscles. Second. My God, yeah, Tens is as well. But
Net-to-netter problem chalse guys.
they don't realize and anticipate, okay, Chichu is going to get dropped here right through the smoke. CDG trying to attempt to flood their way through. Nora Fifth reveals all. And Tens will make full usage of it. Paranoia, connection, movement from Kang is the only surviving element. And praying for a shot to connect there to make it just a little bit more winnable. But for Sentinels, primed and ready for that 8th round. Just a shorty to work with. There are so many angles as well. Gotta be worrying about the high ground where Tens have been perched up. It's a double hold out through the back. The Cam tagging him. You have to play into this round as a last chance in the half. But it's futile. He's been given nothing. Toyed with darts. He's having to deal with it all. It's all being dished out. One last hurrah by Sen. For Sentinels. Maintain that lead all the way for the first half of Haven.
Close things. That brings the gap down to 3. And EDG are going to make it.
That's cheeky.
It is very cheeky. I love the addition of these kind of strategies that Sen have thrown in. They were doing this kind of stuff on Lotus as well. Smokes that go into walls, create small pockets for you to dodge recon utility.
That's
not going to be met. Sentinels obviously on their eco going to be trying to set up this trap play, but EDG, unless they choose to re-explore over towards C, which for now seems unlikely. You never know.
EDG playing with a lot of caution to begin these rounds. It's somewhat similar to what we saw from Sentinels. Cam taking contact over towards grass. The rest of the team ponderously walking towards B or A, staying grouped up as well, making sure that Sen don't catch any of them off guard. I mean, apart from Chushu, obviously.
They don't want to give away any of these guns. Everybody invested from EDG, not trying to, oh, wait.
Trip was broken on the flank here. This should be a normal, like, reacting to A, no problem, easy call.
They're going to go for that. So EDG open. Still a little bit worried as well because the defensive smoke. Zelsis has found Chichu. That does give away the gun, but got to imagine with side control, EDG as well. Spades at a util, Kang.
They're worried about the flank. They're thinking about pushing spawn and flipping the map. They decide not to, and it turns out that's the right call because most of Sen are back.
Time's going to start ticking here. An advantage should still be for EDG. Got the guns, Tens, okay. That's ridiculous. Seconds being played in as well. All the crosshair placement being slipped up and around here. Kang is worried about these swings. No way, Sentinels can't be getting away with this. Off onto the flank, they double up players as well. Smoke once more. The dart has to be broken. Nobody's sticking this one. Sassy finally under the fuse, but everybody dropped. EDG.
The house of cards came crumbling down. Tumbled to the floor. There is such a thing as being too cautious in some of these rounds.
Yeah.
And I think EDG gave way too much space and respect there to Sen. Sentinels pull off the MasterCard Drifty. And first of all, they isolate Chishu, right? But that only gets them one gun. It should still be difficult for them to come back into the site. The rest of EDG had backed up, trying to play passive post-plant positions. And Tens says, I can just they'll immediately take that space.
That's what I mean. Everybody's focus is on Tens when he TPs into the smoke that he just placed down, plopped down in through the middle of the site.
And suddenly, EDG's attempt to get back into Haven looks like a far cry. A gap almost looked like it was going to be down to 2, and yet here it looks like it's going to be extended to 5. That's what a difference that one round makes.
Chichu's hoping that player would open himself up through into mid, give him an easy access to a shot, maybe a kill. Something to change the tide that's currently been fully against them in this map. Cut up onto the corner though, no util, that was contact by Kang.
Didn't hear the trip, didn't hear a cam, thought it would be open.
Flat down onto B.
Celsius,
late.
A little late with it. I mean, usually Celsius is going to be playing in the B connector. This time swapping things over, playing top garage. Was a little late on that, so there's chances that EDG could make something funky happen. Smoggy's going to go for that garage post-plant flank by the look of things.
First wave. It's this point of almost no return. Very weak wars, flimsy paper mache at that Smoggy, off from the side. Second cleaned it, at least diffusing, sticking all the way while the rest of his team does press that advantage. So there was some level of danger. EDG get that plant down on playing the post from that spot.
You get rifles online and suddenly that round is super dangerous though. EDG had some nice ideas about how they wanted to play the post plan. You know, the early garage information could have set up Smoggy. I really like Chishu's setup as well. He had cam and trip. That trip is so tough for the retakers to deal with, but he got spammed through the wall, and at that point, util goes down. EDG, though, need to start putting this kind of stuff together on rounds that are super important, those rifle eco swing round moments. And they're going to take a tactical timeout here. The last one off the map to try to get things back on track.
This is their map pick as well at Haven that's just going so poorly. I mean, I was so ready to sing the praises of EDG, I think. And the form has been there. I mean, Kang is sitting at 15 and 12. Right at the top, he's definitely been earning himself a lot of kills, but coaching staff of EDG definitely seems like they put a lot of emphasis into anti-stratting, making sure that they can pick apart what teams like to do on certain maps. But for Sentinels, this team that we've mentioned are ever-evolving, always changing it up, getting scarier and scarier. This cat and mouse game where you're just trying to play catch-up, some of the prep you might have done to anti them might not even be true anymore.
Absolutely, especially considering that they've only played this Neon version of their Haven comp once before.
Yeah.
And they crushed, so they didn't have to show everything that they have in the back.
Very much all in by EDG. Timeout has to be taken to convert at least this round.
And on the attack side, you need Smoggy to start getting involved as well. He's been one of, if not the most impactful player for EDG in their run at champs. He's absent right now.
Oh my goodness, okay, Kang. Fast play, zips his way past there. Zekken's going to be revealed up as well, but has to respect most of this one. Sassy, trying to play with the drone that was used prior, gets the tag onto the one, but push back and away. But a player dropped on the side of Sentinels. This is the opening that EDG were praying for.
Kang's delivered them another one.
Second going for that re-exploration, looking for the info. Simon's tucked, only the shoulder. Smoggy's there to supplement as well. Help him. Ow! What is that movement? Second just counters it. Simon, it's an absolute worldie with that shot right there. And the reload bullet sprayed down to the bitter end. Simon, quick to capitalize.
Some incredible shooting to get EDG back into things there. Tens is going to hit
all
of these rotates.
Footsteps.
He might be able to cut somebody off as well. Nobody was thinking about going through the garage. That would have been a death sentence. Tens is right here behind them, though. If EDG pause for a moment, he's going to have the backstab.
Yep. That smoke at C is going to be fading. They are not going to anticipate this. He is so quick right there behind them.
He needs his own smoke to fade.
And it will be dissipating. Opens him up, Simon! He's still there, though. This guy's been a savior for EDG in so many moments. The util just narrowly avoided. These are the fault line. John QT still here. But enough has been done, surely, for EDG, and they know it. Doubled up high-low. Simon taking that point. 4-piece in the end. That's what EDG needed.
Somebody else to come in and clean up what Kang delivers you with his opening duels and his entrying. How does he get that at all? Celsius should have been way behind the corner there. Wow. These shots, it's absurd what Simon's put together, especially when he's stunned up in the corner. nice idea from Sentinels, but Simon rips it away. I was talking about Smoggy stepping up, but it's a newcomer that delivers that difference-making round.
Yeah, and over the course of the tournament, Simon has just been impressing over and over again.
Yeah.
Heavy stack from Sen. Misses. Zekken gets onto the line of sight, but feels like a bit of uncertainty. Can't really take the fight that he wanted to here. The drone from nobody should be clearing, potentially. Might just be fading. In fact, it is. So doesn't clear into the corner. Hunter's Fury to push them back and away. One tag. Plenty more players where that came from, and it does soften up a few of them. So EDG feeling a bit weakened, but not deterred away from A.
They've also seen Simon's ripping it on the fake.
He's gone for a fake here, just very much alone, just trying to cut that noise. The Hunter's Fury as well to try and sell this one. Players trying to be pulled back. Sassy though, he realizes it. There's no follow-up off the back of it, doesn't hear any footsteps, so Sentinels just contain that. Bring it down into the 4v4, slow it all the way down, realizing that they've lost control, but so is Kang. Losing track of where these players could potentially be. John QT puts him in his place and spraying him down through the cage. All revealed with the Neuro Theft. It's gone tipsy-turvy. EDG. What should have been a great opener, they've overthunk, I think, into the round itself. Teacher's low, great movement. Slightly ajar, just making it so damn uncomfortable for these even.
Didn't really like the fake attempt there. I think it's far too obvious what EDG pulled out in that round. They're sending double ults, but there's nobody scaling off of it. There's no standard util at the beginning, like recon flashes, that kind of stuff. And on top of that, the rest of EDG weren't even set up to hit a site immediately. They were still making that migration over towards the C site. They weren't already in position to capitalize on the timing. Sen cleaned that up a bit too easily there. EDG's eco is, it's weird looking. I don't know if they're trying to half buy or if they're trying to force it. What's Smoggy doing?
It's all over the place. It's a bargain bin buy, but they're not on the same page with this one. Another fault line to set this up. Early angles from Kang, but he's revealed up. No one deals with that dart. The bolt and the stun just not quite connecting. Still, they want to square him, Simon! God, he's a miracle worker. Survives on barely a shred of health. As low as you can go. Cut noise now, go for the rest of the hit, but he has opened his sight up now. In and away, John QT. Spraying in through the smoke as well. The slightest of reveals, and the bullets just not quite landing onto Kang, but potentially done enough here. Played Sassy in through, onto the flank, right through the wall. Lands it to the dome. Kang's being dropped now. 3 versus 3. Sentinels still make a go of things here. EDG trying to make that play. Good trade by Tens once more, but the smoke dropped down. Now with a paranoia, all added on top. Leaving it just down to Tens, and he's doing damage right through the wall. Isolates the one for Bullet! Oh boy! Tens! He just will not be stopped.
What a beast! What an incredible player! He's having a monstrous tournament. He has been performing at outrageous levels. The game against Gen G, his impact today, 21 kills across 18 rounds. And he's just saved them after Simon should have opened the door and made that one unlosable for EDG.
One enemy remaining.
Isolating the angles perfectly, swinging back out. And Smoggy just cannot find a kill today. Another 1v1 kind of clutch situation that he can't win.
Almost every clutch going away is Sen, almost every single round off the back of that.
He also didn't have armor, by the way, Smoggy, to begin that round. Maybe that could have made a difference.
For EDG now, frantic attempt. It's a tap. Try and pull somebody util out as well. Fake the presence. What? The cage helps him. How's he getting away? That's ridiculous. Glides himself back as well. And back and forth we go. It's EDG scrambling for a chance to get back into this. Second, he's still alive. Overdrive in his hands, and he wants more. Never bite of the apple. But discipline is called for in moments like this, and they temper the round down at that minute mark. Celsius, flash, re-exploration, re-clearing, double held though, and that is Sentinels getting ahead of themselves.
It is good information, however, for Sassy to start pushing out. Could he be the playmaker here?
Odin.
EDG are quite trapped. They don't quite know where everybody is. In fact, they don't know where anybody is.
Full map control lost. Sassy! Smoggy! He's watching for that peek. The slow walk around the corner.
Finally comes alive in this
30
map.
30 seconds left.
Gives it down to Celsius, 1v3, spam. Through into the smoke. Plant down from Simon, but the smoke was watched the entire time. And Smoggy's turn to really come alive. It's 4 kills from him in the round.
They need that from Smoggy. He's been utterly crucial for them in terms of accessing their full potential.
Almost doubled his kills.
Second movement, though, is absolutely world-class.
Enemy remaining.
And he's only played, what is this, his 3rd map playing Neon?
This year?
This year.
Yeah.
With new Neon as well. I mean, all of the stuff he did years ago playing Neon is it's not all that relevant anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a prodigy, I think, when it comes to, I mean, I'm sure he's played
He really is.
Neon before, obviously, but same setup being used by EDG. Got to claw back these rounds one step at a time. Sassy, jump spot, gets that acknowledgement.
And at no point can EDG make a mistake. One error, like Chishu walking in here, and it could all be over!
Oh, no! Uchiju dropped. The flank opened up. Sentinels, they know that they can play this one nice and safe.
Look at the retake cap. Broken. Nice awareness.
Yeah, shock dart has to be used to make sure to get rid of that one, though, but he plant down. Extension into the round, but this is it. This is where EDG make their stand. See if they can stay alive into this map.
You need good defensive utility here from the post planters. Paranoia, Aftershock has to be used to keep them back.
It's going to be used. Eye for an eye when it comes to the util. Aftershock even down into hell. Sentinels are being kept out of the fight. Kang will ensure that they don't step past it. Nobody right there with him. The feed is filled up, all with red. And Huntsman chasing. John QT, fully blinded. Kang empowered. EDG are still in this fight.
Lovely post-plant situation play there from EDG. That's such a critical round for them to get. Those 2 in a row from EDG have now knocked the economy to Zen,
Enemy remaining.
which is the first time,
It's
apart
over.
from, you know, follow-ups from pistols or whatever. So those chances, 6 of them, narrowed down to 4.
Find time if she's unsure. Find time, staying for the summer.
Welcome back to day 4 of Champion Seoul playoffs and our second match of the day. Leviathan going up against Team Heretics, and there you can see some sights from the Fan Fest just outside of the venue. And let me tell you, I've worked in a lot of venues in my life, and this is probably one of the more unique ones, tucked away in the middle of a skyscraper in beautiful Seoul. But we have everyone's out there. Wingman's melting. It's great.
We're not in a skyscraper. We're connected to one.
It feels like we're connected. It feels like we're in a skyscraper. It's a big building.
It is a really big building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a super cool venue.
Amazing. It is extremely cool. And wait until we go to the next venue.
Leave it to Mimi to just tell me the facts of where we are within cities. Anyway.
It's my one big thing.
It's your one big thing, and that's, you know what? I'm happy for you, dog. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive into today's matchup and our next matchup. But before we do that, though, I do want to congratulate EDG. That's an amazing achievement, but let's now focus on the here and now. We have Leviathan, we have Heretics, and Leviathan got here off of some really, unique compositions because, Mimi, guess what? We're the only region that uses Harbor like this.
Yeah, and Leviathan, I think, is the only team who is playing it at this level. They played Harbor in both the maps they showed, and I think it looked super clean. G2's read on Abyss was really focused on their attack side of getting into these set post plants and just cringing it out, which is a good strategy on this map. But I think the Harbor comp really well countered that. Leviathan's retakes looked absolutely on point. The coordination of the team was impeccable. This was the match you kind of needed to reinstill confidence for Leviathan.
Totally, and thinking about the Harbor, now with the opponent that they have today, thinking about Team Heretics, in EMEA, we barely see the Harbor. It is true, though, that internationally they have gotten those reps, and it's not going to come off as a surprise, right? But we are not a region in EMEA that actually love the Harbor. I mean, the couple of times we've seen it, it has rarely ended up in a win.
You don't like water. I don't get it. You don't like water.
I know.
And that's so fair. But I still do think there's a pervasive kind of notion that Leviathan is a team that like wins off the individualism, and Osbos or Tex are going to have a crazy game. And that is definitely true sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But that game against G2, they outcalled one of the most strategic, macro-focused teams we have here at Champion Seoul. And I think doing that is real proof for the depth that this roster has.
Yeah. I'm going to give you 50% of that, because there were rounds where G2's mistakes were too big. And I will give that to Lev for capitalizing on those. But I will repeat myself. I think that one of the big things from that game, especially the Icebox, is that you did not need Aspas to win that game. Even though it was Icebox, even though, he's going to have so much support. There were so many plans, so many layers to that. And that is what you're going to need. You're going to need a comp that is on this form, because comparing the results and the stats that he was having during the year to how he's performing here at Champs, especially in playoffs, it's a different beast, Mimi.
It's really important. When they won, EG that is, at Champions last year, Cone was playing great. That's when he was defining who he is, going for the flank every round, making history at that event. And I think people, when they were watching him in Americas, were like, oh, he's on a big fall off, he's not playing well, how did this guy win a championship? And let's be real, he wasn't playing great in a lot of those games. But he has found his individual form and really peaked individually at the right times for this roster. In Stage 2 playoffs, and now here at Champion Seoul as well. Him having these performances is absolutely massive for Lev's success.
It was a bit of a, controversial situation coming into the year when Com gets picked up on this team. Everyone's like, whoa, what's going on? It happened so suddenly. But I think it's safe to say the reason why you go after a player like Com is because he has that impact potential. he's won a world championship because of that impact potential that he brings to the table. And Mimi, quite frankly, I think he's lived up to his side of the bargain, getting the team this far alongside the rest of the squad.
Yeah, this entire Leviathan project was controversial. I mean, they moved away from being a Latin American squad. The fans weren't on board, and they dropped one of their, at that time, 3 Latin American players to pick up Com from North America and bring him over onto the roster. And people really didn't like the move at first, but I think his addition to this team, he's really proved why they took that risk and made that last-minute change.
Couldn't agree more. Well, let's actually go ahead and hear from our champion, Sova, shall we? And his competition today, because we actually have Com and Rian standing by with Yinsu.
It's not every day that I get the opportunity to be next to 2 Sova gods, Com and Rian. So I wanted to take advantage of this situation and ask you guys a little bit about Sova. First of all, what are your thoughts of this agent in the meta right now?
I think it's like one of the strongest agents in the meta right now. Like you could play Sova in any map, in my opinion. Like every map, it's fine. So yeah, it's pretty strong.
You having a good time as well with Sova right now?
Yeah, I would say like Sova has probably been the most consistent initiator over like all the metas. And then also, as he said, like same thing. I feel like if you're a good Sova, you can kind of make it work on every map.
Right, but you two are the best Sovas I feel like we have in this tournament, maybe in the world as well. When it comes to lineups, have you ever stolen a lineup from the other? Com, I'll start with you.
I've stolen like 1 or 2 on Sunset, got some good stuff, you know. Gotta take advantage of the rookie coming in this year, you know. He got some good stuff, gotta take it.
I respect that. And what about you, Rian?
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen any from Com, but I believe like he's actually like one of the best Sovas in the world, obviously. Yeah.
All right, you're gonna have to show him some today. You gotta show him some. And lastly, how do we become Sova gods like you guys? Give me one piece of advice.
Try to play for your team as much as possible, set up your team for success. I mean, that's the main basis of Sova. And if you have that, then I think you can achieve like anything with Sova.
Sounds doable. What about you, Rian?
I think if you're already a pro player in tier 2 or 3, like all you need to do just practice it in ranked as much as you can, because people underestimate the ranked, in my opinion, because that's the only place that you can improve your mechanics, you know? So like play your agents in ranked and you will improve.
Oh, you heard it from them. I can't wait to see this battle on the server. Good luck today.
We, of course, are talking about 2 of the best Sovas in the game, and they're going to be going toe-to-toe against one another here, and I'm excited to see them clash in the server.
I still remember when Rian's was not in our region because he was still in Turkey, and he would grind, so what he says about ranked is 100% true. Like, this kid grinded so freaking hard that he's gotten to where he is today.
Yeah, you got to put in that work, you know what I mean? And when you put in that work, the results pay off, and who knows, maybe one day someone's watching a stream right now, they playing Sova could end up on that stage. You never know. But speaking of, though, players, young players who find themselves on stage and now on the precipice of greatness, you also have, well, Miniboo. And actually, a tale of 2 Miniboos here, because what's really fascinating about this, Mimi, is that Miniboo started off in the groups, was a little, you know, weak, was a little quiet, but then in the playoffs, I really felt like, really just came online.
Yeah, he was really rough in the group stage. I think we saw some moments on stage where honestly it looked like he was kind of freezing up, taking some risks that he wouldn't normally, missing some shots he wouldn't normally, and I think that probably has to come down to nerves. He's a young player. He wasn't with them when they went on their run in Shanghai, and now he's coming into the biggest event of the year. But what matters is that his team had him, and they got him to the playoffs, and here he has stepped up big time and found that form he was showing back home in Europe.
I think also another big thing about Miniboo is that, especially at the beginning of the year when everybody was praising him for very good reasons, he was playing a lot of the Neon, right? He was so impressive and such a pain in the ass to play against. You would hear that from every single player that had been competing for years, that playing against him, it was very complicated. But throughout this tournament, still, we have not seen him picking up that agent. We saw some changes here and there, but I feel like he needs that kind of confidence to bring up his A game.
Yeah, and that's true, right? But as you had mentioned, he's got that support system behind him, right? And they all know how to dig themselves out of hole. Like, for example, right, we could talk about round 24 on Abyss from that Fnatic match that we saw. And, you know, Heretics, right, doing a great job of really stopping the bleeding and giving themselves a fighting chance and winning.
Yeah, Fnatic was going back into the game. They knew exactly how to take it far, to take it to that third map after that crushing defeat on the first map. But when we think about that round and that superiority that Fnatic already had, getting the kills, how Rians just brings everything back, how they managed to take it always one step forward.
Yeah, I mean, this game was a masterclass from Team Heretics to start. Map number 1 was so dominant up against Fnatic. I don't think anyone could have seen it
13-3.
going this way. They were playing at their peak, and then they almost let it slip. But well, Team Heretics is defined by the preset stuff, by how good boost calling is. They do have rounds like this, and this tournament, it has almost all been about Riens and how massive he has been in those clutch moments. Remember, this team is mostly made up of rookies. This is Rien's first year playing at Tier 1. These are his first international events, and this is his first Champions playoffs. And he's putting up rounds like that against a team who has done it all on these stages.
The thing is, when you think about a Tier 2 in EMEA, and you think about the teams that compete in some of the leagues, some of these kids are cracked. Like, you would see them play, and on an individual level, you cannot beat them. And this is where they spend most of their time developing their service as players. So if you already have that individual level and you put a staff behind like Neil and Weber and you get an IGL like Boo, it is impossible that you do not get this result.
Yeah, it is truly, truly impressive that what we've seen from this Heretics lineup. But for more on that win over Fnatic, here's actually the IGL Boo with an Omen player moment.
Hello, my name is Boo and I'm playing for Team Heretics. I think the whole game felt really good, except for Abyss defense. There were some rounds that we had, it was criminal to lose, I would say, but we did. And yeah, I mean, it cost us like, you know, overtime and stuff, but once we got the last round and got overtime, I knew we were gonna win it. So yeah, in general, it's good feeling for sure, like getting to top 6, no loses, amazing.
Like they go, looking to achieve at least half. They're going to get that, but then now there needs to be a fight back here. Wait, he's still there, he's still defusing. Gets half, Benji! I told you this guy can clutch. Oh, and he's still doing it! Almost all himself, and they fall.
I think when people rank IGLs or coaches especially, like nobody knows. Only inside the team people know what they actually do. Only people that play with them can actually, you know, say it objectively. But I'm not looking to become the best IGL. I'm looking to become better IGL than I am right now. It's just about improving and learning. So next time it's gonna be better. And like even if we will win or something, like it's not gonna stop. I hope that the hunger to improve is not gonna stop.
And you know, when you talk about how things were for Heretics and how Miniboo, you know, needed his team to rally behind him, fascinatingly enough, you could say the same thing about Aspas on Leviathan because it was a little bit of a similar situation. Yes, Aspas had his moments of brilliance, but it was not the best performance that we've seen from him. A guy who, quite frankly, Mimi, always has a lot of pressure on him because of the level of play he brings to the table.
Yeah, but his team was excellent in this one. I think the rest of these guys had big step-ups to compensate. Tex and Mazzino in particular were excellent in that regard. And this is why people consider this team a super team, right? You see these stats from Aspas, you know, they don't look too bad. But by his metrics, he wasn't putting up the numbers. He normally did.
He looks at that, he's like, that's trash.
But all of the guys on this roster are top-level individual players. They get shrouded behind how good Aspas is sometimes. But just the depth of raw mechanical skill on this team is remarkable, even at this level of play.
And when we think about Heretics and what they did the other day to Fnatic, a lot of it was on individual level. Like the duels that they were taking, the fights that they were winning, there was nothing that you could do against them. But against Lev, like if both of the teams bring their A game, this is going to be #1 entertainment.
Well, look, let's take a look at the predictions real quick before we send it over to the stage because, I mean, even for us, right, this was a tough one to call. I mean, let's ignore that first column. But, you know, let's look at the bottom. and on the bottom, I feel like everyone, you know, no one knows, right, like where to go. I went with Heretics. I feel like they're playing some of the best Valorant right now. Like they dig deep. So that's why I went with Heretics.
During the entirety of China, I voted against Heretics. It took them to the final. So the other day, I promised